Okay, hi everybody. I'm actually beginning to prep my peaches. I've actually prepped some of them already, okay, but I wanted to show you this. First off, I want to show you how beautiful these peaches are. I mean, this thing is as big as my hand. I actually have had a couple of peaches that are even bigger, and they fit nicely into both of my hands. I mean, can you imagine how much fruit is in there? I'd love to have shown you those. But anyways, I just wanted to get started here and show you this. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually kind of cut around the middle of the peach. And I just follow the line. It doesn't take much strength. And then I'm just going to turn, pop. That is it. I mean, this is how you do this. Now, these peach pits, you're going to want to save those. Don't throw them away, okay? So go ahead and take and divide it again. Now, you can do halves, you can do wholes, I'm sorry, not wholes, but you can do halves, you can do quarters, you can do cubes. You can pretty much do whatever you really want with peaches. I'm actually doing quarters because I actually like that size. It's good for the children to eat, and it's also good for processing in different types of food type situations. So you're going to pop this off. Be careful because these have sharp edges. Oh, I'm out of focus here. Be careful because these have sharp edges. You can get the equivalent of what would be called paper clip, or not paper clips. Oh my gosh, paper cuts. And with the acidity of the peach actually being in the middle of, say, the scale of 1 to 10, it's normally like a 5 or a 6. Those two things don't really go together. So some people actually like to use rubber gloves, like latex or non-latex kitchen type gloves. I don't, because I've been working with enough food that my hands are pretty tough. And then you're just going to take it and you're going to peel. Now, after you peel, which look, it just pulls right off. It's so easy. After you peel, I'm going to actually pop these into the lemon water that I had prepared earlier. And I did show you that in my kind of like my preparation type setup type video. That'll stop the oxidation and will keep them from turning brown or any ugly colors that you don't want. It's going to keep this nice peach color. Alright, and I'm just going to pop those in there. So we're just going to continue on kind of doing this. You know, one of the things, like I said, is I think I said earlier, is that there is actually over 1,000 different types of variety of peaches. That is amazing. That variety of peaches, those 1,000 varieties, come from China. I think it's kind of cool to know where your food comes from, because not a lot of people know that nowadays. They just think it comes from a grocery store. They have no idea even if it comes from this portion of the country or that portion of the country. But it comes from, they originally came from China. Now, at any given time, there's actually about 100 to 200 varieties of peaches in the United States, which shows honestly our limitations in the United States and a lack of imagination for food. Yeah, so, I'm actually using what is called the Red Haven peach. Okay, it is the peach that is used to judge all other peaches, to be honest with you. It was designed by a man in the 1940s. It was cultivated, and actually, see, look how soft it is. You can just pull it off even without a knife. Pop it in the water. His name is Dr. Stanley Johnston, I believe, if I'm getting the name right. But anyways, it was in the early 1940s that he decided that he really wanted to cultivate the best peach that he could possibly. And he was from Michigan State, which I am from Pennsylvania, so everybody wants to just go boo right now. And if you're from Michigan, just drown me out and go, yay, save that peach pit. It's important. I'll tell you about that later. And he did. He succeeded. He succeeded a lot. Okay, my dog is about ready to bark because she's looking outside and she saw another dog. So if she does bark, that's why she's doing that. She's just trying to be a good protector. Now this peach is the highest flavor of peach. I mean, it is like a pop in your mouth. It is a firework of peach flavor. It is one of the juiciest peaches. You're going to not be thirsty after eating this peach. There is so much juice in this peach. Also, the sweet content mixed with the acidity. It's like eating manna from heaven. To be honest with you, my kids, they were like telling me, they said, Mommy, are you canning the peaches? And I said, yes, I am. And they were like, oh, we can't eat the candy, because they really feel like this is candy, because it is so good. Now, the acidity you're going to have is actually a very good source of vitamin A and vitamin C. So those of you who are like into prepping or whatever, this is a good tree to have in your yard. I am actually trying to talk my husband into buying one of these trees, not necessarily for prepping purposes, but it would be good to be able just to eat the fruit, whenever we want. And also, to be honest with you, to not have to pay for it. Now, I actually do shop around. I have a really good, honest, fair peach producer for me, I guess you can call it, provider. He is from OHF Orchards. I'm just going to wipe my hands because it's so juicy. So OHF Orchards, and his name is Gino. Hi, Gino. So if you're interested, I can definitely, you can Google him. He is going to give you a fair price, and these things are awesome tasting. So just keep going on and keep processing your peaches here. If Gino, he's from Bloomsburg, PA, but he travels all over, and just give him a call if you think that, oh my gosh, he doesn't probably come. I'm in 3 or 4 hours away from him or whatever. You actually might want to just talk to him and see. Give him a call and say, hey, do you have anybody that comes here? Because I think he has, and I'm actually speaking probably out of turn here, but I know he travels. I know he travels all over the place, and he has people that help him, and they travel, and they take care of all that. So just check him out. Check him out. All right. So peaches. One of the most important things was when I began. That one was a little tougher. Just yank it out. Began canning was, I never knew when to can things. It's very annoying. It was so annoying to me, because I'm the type of person, I don't want to read an article and have to read another article and pick and determine when should I can my peaches. Okay, so and I don't want to do that for green beans either. I don't want to have to do all that. I really don't. Just give me a spreadsheet and tell me when. So I'm going to tell you when to can your peaches. I'm just going to be straight up. All right, peaches are best between June to August, and I actually can my peaches in August because they are the sweetest and the most juiciest, and actually that's the time that they're going to be the cheapest, because it's towards the end of the season. So people who can may have already had them earlier. They want to make sure that they get them or whatever. You're going to get them. You're going to get them. It's just you have to let Gino know, or your provider, your produce guy, know, and they'll tell you, hey, I don't know if I'm going to have it next week, or they'll give you a heads up. Like Gino, he told me, I went to him a couple weeks ago and I said, hey, I want to get my peaches, and he said, no, wait a couple of weeks here, because then I can give them to you for a cheaper price. See, that's an honest man. He's a good man. He's a good produce guy. You want to work with people like that. He's like, it's going to be towards the end of my season. Do that, okay? And I'll get you a great deal. So trust him. Listen to him. And also, I wanted to let you know, how do you learn how to can peaches? Well, obviously you're watching the video, but I want to stop here and just say you need to check out. You need to research. You need to read how to can peaches from a couple different sources. All right, so let's talk about the Ball Book. Ball Book is actually one of the most common books that tell you how to can. Like your grandma probably used the ball book, your great grandma probably used the ball book. So I have the ball book, and I actually reference it. I actually remind myself before I can every year, even if I've canned it like, 5, 10, 15 times before. Yeah, you want to. I always remind yourself. You never know when you're going to forget. I mean, life is like that. I mean, let's be honest. I actually will reference that. Also, I have a couple of good friends that I reference. Hi, Harold. Hi, Annie. I just wanted to say thank you for teaching me how to can and do the wonderful things you taught me how to do. So you can get a couple friends. You can look at the ball book. But the one thing that I actually do most is I reference the USDA canning guide. I know that sounds silly. Actually, the USDA, they don't care if you can. They just want you to can safe. And so I actually follow that. If you Google USDA canning guide, it's going to say USDA canning guide peaches. Google that. All right, it's going to come up. I actually bought the book because you can buy the book. It is actually from the Cooperative Extension of the University of Georgia, is where the USDA is out of for canning. And they are going to tell you how to cantaloupe in that book. That's going to get rinsed off, FYI. They're going to tell you how to can antelope in that book. They're going to tell you how to can squirrel. They're going to tell you how to can pineapple, green beans, peaches, nectarines. They're going to tell you how to what kind of varieties to can of pears, because there's certain kinds of pears you can't can because of it's dangerous. They are going to tell you every single thing. Whatever you do, just make sure that you're following the basic guidelines of food safety that are set forth in the USDA canning guide. That's my suggestion. I've had some people who are like, well, my Nana's canning recipe says this. Well, honestly, I'm sure that you've ate it your whole life. But you need to make sure that it's safe. Because of all of the changes in our food, because our peaches and our other food are so vastly different today than it was during Grandma's time. Just because of all of the chemicals and all of the things that GMOs have done to our food. Now, I know there are people out there who do not believe, and that is fine. You don't have to believe. You live in America. That our food is modified, or that it's bad that our food is modified. I'm purist. I happen to think that we should be going back to our roots a little bit with our food, and maybe we wouldn't have so many cancers and so many illnesses and so many problems. But that's just my pedestal, I could say. But I just wanted to kind of show you how I prep my peaches. Make sure you save these pits. It's very important you save the pits. Now, sometimes these pits, FYI, just one last thing before I go. Sometimes these pits can be a bad pit, and you'll know it when it's a bad pit. It is an ugly, ugly thing. Make sure you throw those away. Okay? You don't want to save the ugly pits. But this is a good pit. It's very brightly covered. It's awesome. You can, number one, crack the pods. Yes, you can. You can crack them. And you can get the seeds out. Start cultivating your own seeds if you want to do that for your own trees. But also you want to make sure that you leave some for some future canning things, which I will show you when I put the peaches into the canning jars. Alright, so we'll see you in a few minutes. I've got some more peaches to prep, and I look forward to telling you how I actually can them.